So if you're looking behind me, you're thinking, why in the world are you putting all this plywood up against your garage door? Well, I'm confident in that because I've disengaged it. Reason being, it's completely insulated at this point, and I don't really need to open it very much. So I'm gonna break down the cost that I find to be the cheapest way and has the best R value, at least in my opinion. I'm sure the comments will tell you differently on how to insulate a garage door. And all you need, well, you do need one tool. You need a table saw and a razor blade. Let's dive in. I mean, I guess technically you could do this entire process with a really nice razor blade, but I wouldn't. Watch. Okay, so elephant in the room is I'm getting inundated with emails about where is my stuff. Again, this is about what I'm doing per day. By the end of this week, by the time you see this video, your order has probably shipped. So if I haven't gotten back with you, I do apologize. Anyway, if you're curious what the heck is all in this, go to glimpseinside.org. Support this family business, and now I'm back up and running and I'm able to get orders out on a day-to-day basis. So your order's coming to you. Thank you so much for the support. Back to the installation. So you have a few options to insulate a garage door if you want to. They make these kits. Owens Corning makes a kit. I'll put it up here. It's basically fiberglass insulation that's sandwiched between two sheets of a plastic, and then you put it into the cavities, and it runs you about, that much. Now, you can also use 1-inch thick Owens Corning or foam insulation. It gives you an R value of about 6. However, I've got this stuff. This is a 2-inch foam, and I could have just used the 1-inch, and it would have been pretty easy because I wouldn't have to make all of these different rabbet joints on the table saw that you're about to see. But I did that because I wanted an R value of 12. And so for the best bang for your buck, this stuff is about $50 a sheet, and I used 5 sheets, putting it at $250. And honestly, with an R value of 12, you're not going to get that with any other product on the market for that cheap and that great of an R value. So we're going to go ahead and get building and show you how we do it. All right, let's start this process here. You can see here that I've got some empty panels I need to fill in, but I've also done some work and I've gotten some knowledge on how to do this. The first few I did are not going to be exactly how I'm going to show you here. Once I got to about panel 8, I really dialed in this process, and this is what really works. So I'm cutting these down to size. I have a 20-foot garage door. You may have an 18-foot garage door or even a 10-foot or a 9-foot. Some of these vary from size to size. So anyway, the insulated panels are going to be cut according to your specs. Just measure your garage door openings and go ahead and do it that way. Now, there is some key indicators here that I'm using. I've made a little story stick to give me the depth I need my table saw blade to be set at so I can cut these rabbets thusly. You'll see that these rabbets are going to be different sizes because to really put them into the garage door, they need to be. So they fit snug and I have as little air gaps as possible. Now, this isn't an exact science. There are going to be air gaps in this. I just need this to be as insulated as best as possible without doing some spray foam installation. We have done spray foam in this shop, and I will do an update on this shop eventually. Once I get things up and running and how I'm not so embarrassed about the corner that's behind the camera, right? Anyway, we're going to go through the process and lower down the blade a little bit, and we're going to continue to cut roughly about 3/8 of a material out of each of these panels. I come back with a razor blade, as you saw earlier, with one of those Temu rulers, real cheap. Anyway, you're going to see here, I just make a couple cuts here, lay down that really cheap ruler, and make a few cuts, and we're good to go with our rabbets. Please note that these measurements are unique to my garage door. I've said that before. I want you to take careful measurements of what you're going to do, and then this is going to be one of the best options possible in terms of R value, in terms of being lightweight. It really is great. I will talk about the spring adjustment later, and if you're curious about that, so stay tuned. But honestly, it's a little unsightly too. Let's just call the elephant in the room, like I said earlier. It's a little pink. Yeah, and you can do things to cover this up. It doesn't really bother me too bad. I may put a banner up to kind of, showcase whatever. But honestly, the pink color, I guess, is brand recognition for Owens Corning. This is not a sponsored video by them. But this stuff really has, I will tell you, has made a huge difference. At this point in you watching the video, I'm sitting here doing this edit, and my shop is as comfortable as possible. I have spray foam walls, and I also have this done on my garage door, and it's worked beautifully. Now, you can see here, these are why we made those rabbets, because we're gonna simply, it doesn't fit. Now you think, uh-oh. Well, here's what I've done. I take my table saw, I set the rip length to 4 inches. I cut a piece off the top, I cut a piece off the bottom, and I installed the bottom part like this. I'm able to get it in there because it's now, well, it's 3 different pieces. Pretty simply, really nice snug fit, pretty darn tight, and as you can see, there's the rabbit in action. Really good fit. Now we're going to do the same process on the top. If you've taken careful measurements, everything should just snug together. And then the last, well, it's that middle part. But before we do that, I make a small 45-degree angle cut on the corner that's going to be going into right there, because there's a small little protrusion in my garage door that needs to avoid. But once that's in, a nice snug fit, pound it in place, you're good to go. You may realize that the middle panel is proud a little bit, and it is, and here's why. Inside each of these garage door panels is a small decorative detail that protrudes outwards. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I didn't bother taking measurements of that to make sure this all fit together. A little 1/4-inch protrusion is not that big a deal. Now, we're going to move on and show you how I hold these in place, because when you do open it, they will fall out occasionally. Here's how it goes. Now, the method I'm using here is overkill. You don't need to cut this stuff on the laser at all. You may not even have one, but you could take little sheets of craft plywood, whatever you got lying around, and do this. Self-tapping screws, small strips of plywood to hold everything in place. You can see how it works here. It does work great, and this is what I did. Well, there you have it. That's how I did it. I love how it works. Also, I will say this. I know the comments are coming for this. You need to adjust your springs for the added weight of what you've done. Now, we've done that beforehand. The garage door was flipping, flying real quick. I had the guy come out here and calibrate it for me as if the weight was on there, and then I did the work. So anyway, make sure you calibrate that correctly. Also, subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. It would be great to have an uptick in subscribers these days, and I appreciate each and every one of you being here. Again, everyone, your orders are coming. I really appreciate it. A glimpseinside.org helps support this family business. And of course, we are now located in the Winston-Salem area of North Carolina. So, thinking of doing a maker meetup. If you're here at this part of the video, let me know if you're in the surrounding area, and maybe we'll coordinate maybe in a month or so. All right, guys, take care. See ya.